And now on to the fourth criterion, which is flow. So what we mean by flow is that when we have words or sentences, but in this case, obviously, since we're talking about logotypes, we're talking about words, there should be a nice flow from left to right. And usually the way that that is accomplished is by the baseline, which is right here, and then the x height, and then also there would be a top line, which I'm not showing here right now. And we would try to find fonts that sit nicely, in a nice, good, strong way on that baseline. So here with the sans serif font, we can see, and actually let me bring this exactly down, like so. So I'm looking at the F here. So quite a bit of the A is sitting on the baseline, quite a bit of the B is sitting on the baseline, and then if I bring this up a bit, quite a bit of the A is sitting on the X height, and quite a bit of this B and the C, and so on and so on. Now if I go down here, this is Futura, I'm using Futura as a more problematic example. And if we compare this with this, we will see that the amount that sits on the baseline is actually less than the amount that sits on the baseline up here. So these rounded fonts are very nice, and you may want to use them. Hold on, I just need to adjust the X height here. Let's slip down. But you need to be aware that they will have a flow problem. They will not flow as naturally and as nicely as some of the sans serif fonts, which are more square, and so they sit better on the baseline and they touch the X height in a better way, and also they have less space between the rounded characters. So if you look here between the B and the C, we have this, but if we look here between the B and the C, we have considerably more. They come out more. There's more space here. So that's one of the other things that you need to pay a lot of attention to when you are picking a font. Does it have a good flow? And again, I repeat, this does not mean that you do not use these kinds of fonts, but it means that you are aware that when you decide to use them, you pick one which has the least problems, which will give you the least problems. And then also when you pick it in the awareness that you are going to probably have to do quite a bit of work with the kerning or add additional elements or things like that. Now then, of course, with freehand fonts like this one here, we cannot apply this criterion, but we still need the flow. So what we do is we draw an imaginary line, or I actually drew it here, which doesn't actually touch the baseline, because these freehand fonts will not have a baseline in the sense that this has a baseline or this has a baseline, or an X height in the sense that these do, but we put it somewhere in the middle, and we see whether there's a nice flow that happens across this imaginary line that we put here.